Okay, picture this. You step outside on a bright, sunny day, and instantly you feel that intense warmth hitting your skin. Have you ever actually stopped to wonder, how exactly is that heat reaching me? Think about it for a second. The sun is literally millions of miles away, and between us and the sun is the vast, completely empty vacuum of space. There's no air, there's no water, there are zero particles out there to carry that thermal energy to us. So how on earth does that immense heat travel across absolute nothingness? Honestly, it's a scenario that seems impossible, right? Well, until you understand the underlying science.
Welcome back to another explainer. I am so thrilled you're here today because we are going to demystify what I like to call an absolute superpower of physics. Today's explainer is all about heat transfer through radiation, unlocking the invisible waves. We're going to break down exactly how heat can travel without needing anything at all to carry it. We'll look at some classic lab experiments, and we'll see how this invisible process shapes our daily lives and even modern technology. Here's our quick roadmap for today's journey. First, we'll tackle the mystery of the sun's heat. Second, everyday radiation. Third, the famous Leslie's Cube Lab. Fourth, factors affecting radiation. And finally, infrared thermometers. Let's get right into it.
All right, Section 1. Mystery of the sun's heat. Let's solve that massive cosmic puzzle we just opened with. So, the answer to our cosmic mystery? It's radiation. In physics, radiation is defined as the transfer of heat through electromagnetic waves completely without requiring a medium. Now pay attention to that word medium, because it's absolutely crucial. If you've studied conduction, you know it needs direct contact between solid particles to work. Convection, that needs fluids like liquids or gases to circulate the heat. But radiation, it's the ultimate rebel. It requires absolutely zero particles, it's just pure energy traveling across space in the form of electromagnetic waves. And that is the exact mechanism letting the sun's heat reach the Earth.
Moving on to Section 2, everyday radiation. Let's step out of the cosmos and right into your living room.
Imagine you're standing in front of a roaring, cozy fireplace. You know the air around the fire doesn't conduct heat very well. And if you look at how convection works, that hot air actually rises straight up the chimney, not outward toward you. But you still feel warm, right? That immediate warmth you feel on your face, that's radiation. It's light and heat emitted right from the fire as electromagnetic waves traveling straight to you. Let's push this idea just a bit further. Think about a steaming hot cup of tea sitting on your kitchen counter, and right next to it, a freezing cold glass of ice water. Over time, the tea cools down and the water warms up. Why? Well, it's because of this constant, invisible exchange. You see, all objects, including the walls, the ceiling, the floor of your room, they all constantly radiate heat while simultaneously absorbing it. The hot tea is hotter than the room, so it radiates way more heat than it takes in, cooling it down until it matches the room's temperature. The cold glass of water, it does the exact opposite. It absorbs more heat from the room than it gives off, so it warms up. Essentially, everything around you is constantly trying to reach a thermal balance.
Okay, Section 3, the Leslie's Cube Lab. How do scientists actually measure and prove this stuff? Let's head to the lab.
Let's break down a really classic experiment called Leslie's Cube. Picture a simple metal box, but its four vertical faces are made of entirely different materials or colors. You usually have a shiny silver side, a dull black side, a white side, and maybe a brightly colored one. We fill this box with boiling hot water, and then we use a radiation detector to measure exactly how much heat each distinct face emits. On the flip side, we can place identical thermometers behind different surfaces, like dull black versus polished silver, with a heat source right in the middle, just to see which one absorbs heat faster. The results from this are totally fascinating, and they give us a universal rule for thermal engineering. It turns out the dull black surface is the absolute champion here. It's the single most effective emitter of heat, and when we reverse the roles, it's also the best absorber. It literally acts like a thermal sponge. But on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, we have the shiny silver surface. Shiny light-colored surfaces are incredibly poor absorbers and emitters. Instead, they act like a shield, just reflecting most of that incoming infrared radiation right away. Which brings us to Section 4. Factors affecting radiation. Let's formally break down the variables that speed up or slow down this heat transfer. The rate of radiation an object emits basically boils down to three key variables. First up, surface temperature. Simply put, hotter objects just emit more energy. A glowing hot iron rod is going to pump out vastly more heat than a lukewarm one. Second is surface area. The The larger the physical area of an object, the more space there is for radiation to actually happen all at once. And third, as we literally just proved with our Leslie's cube, surface color and texture. Dull and rough surfaces are your sponges, excellent at emitting and absorbing, while shiny, smooth surfaces are your shields, reflecting the heat away. Now, let's see how clever engineering applies these exact rules to the real world. Have you ever actually looked at a standard room heating radiator? Notice how they aren't just flat, boring metal boxes. They're designed with lots of thin slots and fins. Why do they do that? Well, it's because of that second rule, surface area. By adding all those fins, engineers massively increase the surface area of the heater without taking up half your living room. A larger area means much more efficient heat transfer, letting the object emit thermal energy much faster into your home. It's applied physics, right there in your hallway. Finally, Section 5, infrared thermometers. Let's look at how we measure this invisible energy today. Over the last few years, especially during the pandemic, we've all become incredibly familiar with these infrared thermometers, right? But how do they actually work? Well, they literally read the invisible electromagnetic radiation an object is emitting. Remember, all objects radiate heat. So, by pointing this thermometer and pulling the trigger, a sensor inside detects the exact amount of infrared radiation bouncing off a person's forehead, or blasting out of a hot oven, or coming off a dangerous piece of machinery. It then converts that invisible wave into a simple temperature reading on a screen. And the best part? It does it all safely without ever having to touch the object. To wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a practical challenge. Think back to the results of the Leslie's Cube experiment we just covered. Imagine it's a blazing hot, incredibly sunny summer day, and you're about to go for a long walk. Based on the fact that dull black surfaces act like a thermal sponge, absorbing radiation, and light, shiny surfaces act like a reflective shield, what color clothes should you pull out of your closet if you want to stay cool? I'm really hoping you're thinking of white or light colors to reflect those incoming solar waves. It makes you wonder what else in your daily life is secretly relying on these invisible rules of radiation. Keep questioning the world around you, and I will catch you in the next explainer.